This is the fifth video in the miniature train tutorials. It's going to cover the wheel. I'm going to split the wheel up into two separate videos. So this first video is simply going to show how to sketch this profile here and revolve it. The second video will show how to come back in, cut out this pattern, and add this little portion to the wheel as well. So what I'm going to start with is simply kind of this hatched out area here. So when I come into Inventor, I'm going to start by turning my construction line on and simply drawing a vertical line. This is going to end up being the axis in which we revolve our shape around, or revolve our profile around. I got to remember to come over here and turn that back off, so that way the geometry I start sketching now ends up being, regular geometry, object lines, etc. I'm going to start with this 1/4 inch diameter circle. I know that that circle is 1 inch from my center point, or from my origin. I also know that that center point is going to be aligned to my origin as well. The reason I'm starting with that being my sketch is now I can come in and use it as a reference point to then kind of come in and place some geometric constraints as I sketch this part. So if I sketch that, now I can come in, place some dimensions, and what I'm doing here is I'm going to place these dimensions, not coming back in and dimensioning them as I need them, but simply placing them, and then that way I can look back at my drawing and place them accordingly. So if I look at this right now, these two lines or three lines aren't constrained. So what I'm going to do is make some collinear constraints. I guess that one's already on it. So I'm going to say tangent and see, kind of not necessarily blindly guessing here, but I am kind of strategically deciding what I want to place. So those are the geometric constraints that need to be applied, the dimensional constraints that need to be applied just to get it to be fully constrained. It does say 1 dimension needed, and that's actually the length of this construction line, so I'm not too worried about it. So all I need to do now, the height of this is correct, this 1 inch is correct. I need to look for these 3 dimensions. So this dimension here represents the hole that's in the center of this wheel. So it says 0.280 divided through. When I look at this, again, we're working with the radius opposed to the diameter. So I'm going to say 0.28 divided by 2. All right. I believe this was 0.25, not 254, 0.25. And I believe this was 0.75. And again, I'm doing that from memory, but I am going to come back in here and double check. So center point to that first edge, 0.25, center point to this next edge, 0.75, and then the dimension I already placed was center point to the center point, again, 1 inch, and that was correct. So what I'm going to show you here is the fact that right now my sketch is all right angles. That is not what I need to revolve. My wheel has these curves assigned to it. And this radius here that says 0.0625 TYP means that typical, those 4 locations have this same radius information. So in Inventor, if I open up my fillet command, I say 0.0625, and I come in and I just fillet all those corners. Because everything was constrained and fully constrained when I created the geometry, those fillets are going to come in fully constrained as well. Now, I don't need to trim this out. I can try trimming it out. It didn't change any of my geometry or how I had things constrained, so it worked. If you did trim it and things went to green, I would just leave it untrimmed, and when you choose your revolve command, just recognize that you have to choose 2 profiles now. But it recognizes my profile. I have no issues. The axis is that center line that I created, that construction line I created. I need it to be fully extruded, or not extruded, revolved. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to say OK. And that gives me the start of my wheel. So this next video I create, I'm going to show you how to do the cutouts and how to add the little peg to it. But that shows you how to create simply the initial geometry you need.